me, and then I have volunteers who come in.
Oh, people that want to play with animals and stuff like that. Yeah.
Thank you, Juju.
And I volunteer sometime, come over to your house.
If you promise not to steal any of my animals.
Still, I don't, I might eat one, but I ain't gonna steal nothing. I ain't never stole nothing in my life.
Well, not steal, but like take it to eat it.
Well, what if I didn't take it? I just ate it right there in the house.
Oh, shit, but I don't know. Can I get my other raccoon? She's bigger than the other one.
Okay, let me see you.
Hold on, let me get the other one.
That one's gonna be just right for the picking, to be honest with you. If you said it's bigger, that's a whole lot of coon meat. Oh, no, I've seen bigger than that, honestly. That's a good run. Look at it, trying to get away. Bitch, I know it's stank. What is that you're feeding it?
Scrambled eggs.
Oh, can I get some?
You don't want some.
Okay, I like mine over easy with a little ketchup on it. Sorry. I like some little ketchup, salt, and pepper.
Thank you, Rose. Thank you, Juju. Thank you, Pearl.
Yeah.
Subscribers, your video is ready. Hello, LGBTQ plus DL men, women who secretly love us and support us. And if you don't identify with any of those labels, you're still free to subscribe to the channel. So, this particular video is important before I do another video that I'm going to do that I'm really excited to do, but it's kind of like I'm sad to I said sad. It's the next topic, the next video. I'm really excited to do the next video, but it's not like a topic that's really like I guess it isn't happy. Anyway, we're gonna just focus on the topic for this video, but just know that this video is important for the next a next video that I'm going to be releasing, because I'm very excited to do the next video. But speaking on this video and its importance to the next video, just know that it's important for the next video that is going to be released. Now, this specific video, we're speaking about the one, the only Lilith. And first, I will be speaking about some things that I know her, just some things that I know of her prior to some of the research that I have done of Lilith. Now, when I first heard of her and discovered some things about her, there was this girl on TikTok that spoke about Lilith and how she was Adam's first wife. This information came from a book called The Mama, or like The Black Mama.
So apparently Adam and Eve are the first two humans created by God. But I read something very different today. Have you guys heard of a woman named Lilith? So I've been reading this book, right? This book talks about Lilith, who came before Eve. She was actually Adam's first wife. This book says that the first woman was created equal to man, male and female created he them, Genesis 1:27. So then the book continues to say that because Lilith demanded equality, because she was created equal to Adam, they basically vilified her. They labeled her as the mother of demons and the destroyer and seducer of men. They basically called her a whore because she wanted equality. That sounds so familiar. She demanded equality and to co-rule and would not submit to Adam's attempt to sexually dominate her. She was vilified as whore, hag, witch, bloodsucker, succubus, child killer, impure, enchantress, and the subtle serpent who tempted Adam and Eve. Just kidding. They didn't leave Lilith out. There she is. So of course they left Lilith out of the Bible. This is the exact same tactic that they use to control enslaved people. They include and exclude information in the Bible to be able to control you. Think about it. They excluded the story where man and woman were created equal, but left the story in where woman was created from a man's rib. It seems like a tactic to get women to submit, if you ask me, and judging from our history, it doesn't sound far off. Not to mention, this woman fought for her equality. They just could not include that in the Bible because they didn't want to give women any ideas, huh? And you don't have to believe what's written in this book. You can just look it up, honestly.
I just know that it was called like the Mama or something like that. But it had like a woman that was of African American descent. And this book spoke about Lilith being the first wife of Adam, and people labeled her as they labeled her as a hag, a whore, a witch, the subtle serpent that tempted Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. Some also, there are certain mythologies that speak about Lilith being kind of like taking on this vampiristic type of energy. Like she became like a vampire or something like that. Basically, she was vilified in this text. Now, I also want to say that I have come across readings about Lilith being the twin flame of Adam. She was said to be, she and Adam were on the same body. And for you that have listened or have seen any of my other videos, you may have heard me speak about a creature that was on the same body, 2 faces, 4 arms, 4 legs, and they split this creature in half to be in 2 bodies, separating these 2 beings so that they wouldn't overthrow the gods. And this being was called a twin flame. Now, speaking about Lilith and Adam were said to be, facing opposite directions, and they were on the same body, and they couldn't interact. And so God then split them in half so that they could interact with each other. And the reason that this information makes sense to me is because God made them equal to each other. And I've also read or heard in text that Adam didn't like the idea of Lilith being his equal. He didn't like that Lilith was not being obedient to him, because she was basically saying to Adam that she was just as powerful as him. They were both equals. They could equally reign. And so because of Adam's disliking of that, Adam chose to not be with Lilith. And so that is where Eve comes into play. And Eve is in the Bible. Now, Lilith was not included in the Bible. And I want to do another video because this information that I'm going to speak about is just like, it's totally beyond what the information I'm going to tell you. But it is said that there are about 52 books in the Bible that weren't included. So these scriptures are called the Gnostic scriptures. And so within this text that wasn't included in the Bible, Lilith is in these texts, from my understanding. But if you haven't heard of Lilith, look her up. But I'm going to be explaining some things that I understand of Lilith and some things that I've heard of Lilith in this video. When I think of Lilith, I think of how in ancient Greece they described this creature that was on the same body with Adam. And of course I've already explained that and spoke about that. And there has been movies that have brought this idea up in movies, right? I think it was a movie about it was a movie with Nina Dobrev, and she spoke about it in that video, or in that movie on Netflix, something about love, where she was with a Asian guy or something like that. Anyway, just that alone, that idea of them being on the same body and being split apart, to me, it's like the idea of what a twin flame is. If we think about the soul energy, right? Because many people think when they hear twin flames, they would think about Adam and Eve instead of Adam and Lilith. And I know some of y'all probably said Adam and Steve. Adam and Lilith. Adam and Lilith were considered on the same body. They were split in half so that they could interact with each other. They were created to be equals with each other. And she is known as his first wife. And why don't many people know about her? And that's because they know about Eve and Adam being in the garden and being tempted by the snake. In that text called the Black Mama, it was said that, or recorded, that Lilith was the temptress, the snake in the tree that tempted Adam and Eve. And I'm going to say this, a lot of people see men as more powerful than women. And if that is true, and also think about how in mythology, why would mythology be present in text if it didn't have any truth to it? Why would there be things about vampires and unicorns and just all of these mythical creatures? Why would there be anything about these things if they didn't at some point exist? There has to be some existence of these things for them to just be spoken about, right? I mean, if you don't think that these things are true, that's you. But I think that at some point these things had to exist for people to have textual information about them. And also, with there being 52 books that weren't included in the Bible, there has to be some things that just haven't been popularized. Like, there are just certain texts in the Bible that are popularized. But if there are 52 books missing, there is some information that just isn't popularized. And so we're shining light on those type of things, right, within this video. And of course, this video being about Lilith is structured around Lilith. But speaking about how, there are mythical creatures, and speaking about how Lilith was like considered a vampire, she kind of like took on this gothic type of look or aesthetic to herself, and for you that do not know, because a lot of people think that, oh, angels look like humans with wings. Some of them do, but not all of them look like angels with wings. And I will allow you as the viewer to look up, what do angels really look like? Look it up. There are different types of angels. They're not just the angels that are human-like form with wings. There are different types of angels. There are archangels. There are just different types of angels. So if you want to look up that information, if I may put some in the video. But continuing on, if mythical creatures are true and this is coming from ancient Greece, the idea of this creature that was split in half so that it would overthrow the gods, right? Think about that for a second. And think about the idea of mythical creatures. If these things existed, there had to be the existence of being able to take different forms and flying and having powers, because we see these, sometimes we see these videos arise where people set a piece of paper on fire and say that they have powers, and how there are these depictions of people flying and people using laser beams out of their eyes and things like that. And to think about David and Goliath and the giant with the Cyclops with the one eye, just to think about how these things are depicted in certain like mythical tales and things like that. Just think about that. If these things existed, there had to be existence of us as humans being able to do these different things at some point in existence. And as God seeing how we, I guess you can say that we were just so powerful, we kind of like modernized it, I guess you can say. That's not even probably not even a word, but to think about how there are stories about the Red Sea being parted, there had to be these type of, you don't see people doing these things nowadays, right? So we kind of have to we kind of have to use our imagination to imagine how these things happen. And just to think about that, if these things are true, there has to be, and even with 52 books from the Bible being not present, there has to be the acknowledgement of these other things, right? And so when we're speaking about Lilith being looked at as the subtle serpent that was in the tree in the Garden of Eden that tempted Adam and Eve to eat the apple, and Lilith was considered Adam's equal, and he chose to be with Eve, who was considered the being made from his rib. Just to think about that alone, it's weird to me, because if it's kind of saying that Eve is Adam's soulmate and Lilith is Adam's twin flame, but it's not saying that he's supposed to be with one or the other, right? But just to think about it as Lilith and Adam, if they were the same body and they were split in half so that they could be together and create together, and because Adam didn't like Lilith because Lilith wouldn't submit to him. She didn't really have to submit to him because they were equally as strong, but he didn't like that Lilith was stronger than him. And Lilith is also looked at as like a feminine leader, like a strong feminine like a representation for feminine energy. That's how she's looked at. Like, she's looked at as a feminine leader. And if Eve was created to basically submit to Adam, but she was created from his rib. But Lilith was created equal to Adam. Adam and Lilith had the same body, and they were split in half, to be together. And he chose a being that would submit to him. Continuing on, now you may be aware that I said that Lilith has a very like gothic type of appearance, but how you know that Lilith is kind of calling you is that she, I mean, and many deities use certain symbolism to call towards you, right? And some people don't believe in deities, and that's okay. But just know that deities sometimes will use certain symbolism to allow you to become aware that they are connecting with you. And there are two symbolisms that they use: owls and snakes. Lilith does. I said them, but Lilith uses snakes and owls to try to connect with you. And I would like to say that, that's ironic because Megan used that. She used Hiss for her record that she, just currently released. And Lilith is also known to kind of be the deity or the being that is used to call your power back and, embrace your sexuality and things like that. And what I can say about Lilith, some information that I came across about Lilith is that she had a female consort that she chose to be with after her and Adam did not, come to an agreement to be together after he chose to be with Eve. And so if that's true within itself, lesbianism or lesbianism, being gay has just been a part of the experience for so long. And that's why I say that I think that things like being gay are just a part of us reclaiming our power and being at the front line, being able to say, this is who I am. Not saying that, like some people say, oh, I was born this way. No, 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 no. I think that it's just about us this is who we are. We chose these paths prior to being in this human form, this human existence. We chose this and we have to stand on the front line and be it. And I think that Lilith herself is strong for being able to say, although Adam does not want to be with his equal, you remember that artist with the red hair that had the album Equals, and he had the song, what was that song? I was just thinking about the song. Na 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 na. And he actually had a song with na 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 drink of you. Na 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 na. What was that song? Y'all know who I'm talking about. The UK. Damn. Anyway, continuing on. I had been seeing owls. You know what's wow? There's an owl here actually in the house. Hold on. See, that's my my Bessie. But here, there's an owl in the house. There's actually a video where I spoke about the song Hiss, where I said that there was a snake in the lake that just came and just was just there by the rocks when I was sitting on the steps, and the snake just like it just slithered up in the water and it just stayed there for a while. And I think it was kind of like a knowing from spirit, like spirit saying, hey, I'm here with you within your experience. I'm present within your experience. And so I think with any deity, there's a representation, like a knowing that you have like some type of calling from God within these experiences. But just to stay on track of what we're talking about, Lilith herself, I think she had to become strong within her own path to understand that even though she's representing feminine energy, she had to become in alignment with her complete wholeness. Like, although she is a representation of, like, physically, she looks like, oh, the feminine energy. But she had to start to act from, like, her wholeness, her completeness. Like, that means that she had to also become aware of her masculine energy within herself. Because if her and Adam were equals, that means that she's equally powerful to him. She equally has enough masculine energy to be, equally as strong as him. And a lot of people think that strength is like, how your muscles and things like that, but strength can be like your endurance, your energy, how strong you are energetically. It can be that. And a lot of people think that being equal to another being, or being, like a soul vibrational match, is that, like, when we're saying, twin flame, it's the soul journey, it's the energetic journey of a being, because the soul is a whole and complete being. And although Adam and Lilith were considered like a bodily, they were considered like equals that way, I think that what we have to kind of like imagine or envision is that it was a representation of what they were solely matched to be together, and I think that, like, God had to somewhat change his creations to fit the times. I mean, to think about how there were once dinosaurs on the planet, and then they were eradicated, and then there were human there. It was known that sometimes the cavemen were around while the dinosaurs were around. So what happened to the cavemen that were with the dinosaurs? They were also eradicated with the dinosaurs, if that was true. And I oftentimes kind of think that, what's the point of digging in the past so far when there's only a need to become aware of what is present, what is now? There aren't any cavemen that I know of, unless they're probably more modern cavemen, like cavemen that know how to speak and talk and things like that. But to think about dinosaurs are no longer existent. We only have what is now. So yeah, now I'm going to look up some information that I have researched about Lilith and share that with you. I also have to add this because it's very important. I was having a conversation with my great aunt just the other night, and I asked her, had she heard about Lilith? And she said she did. And in the middle of our conversation, she kind of like got mixed up with the names, but she said she even knew about the Gnostic scriptures. And so her being a Christian woman, or a woman that identifies with Christianity, it kind of was like validating in a way to hear her say, oh yeah, I've heard about that. And I kind of questioned, well, why aren't these things spoken about more? Hearing, I used to identify with being a witch, and I realized how other people were receiving hearing that, because they just like, oh, he with the demonic shit, he with the devil, he believe in the devil. And I just understood the research and the things that I was researching, but if there were 52 books released called the Gnostic scriptures, and again, this is another video for another day, just think about how much wasn't spoken about within the Bible, or within any type of religious text, there's so much missing. So without research, we truly only have a one-sided story, because most religious texts, especially the Bible, speaks of it, it's kind of like the Bible was constructed around the life of Jesus, most of it. And that's what I heard about, when I was researching, what the Gnostic scriptures was. But again, like I said, that's another video. But anyway, continuing on. Before I totally dive into this information, I want you to think about this. And I think I have to, speak about some of the information. Lilith was labeled these demonic things. She was spoken about that she was these demonic things because she wouldn't submit to Adam. And if you research the information, even if you go on TikTok and research her name, you will find that the information is generally the same. That she was basically vilified, that she was spoken about as being a demonic or dark feminine. And so just that alone, right? How people pray to Jesus and say, "Oh, I call upon Jesus to vanish this dark spirit," and da 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 da. Jesus is basically an entity that people are calling on. And so Lilith is the same. Why was Jesus's experience much more spoken about than Adam's experience? It's as if people speak about, oh, Adam and Eve were created, they were created to be together, and they were in the garden of Eden. And that's all that's truly spoken about as far as Adam and Eve. Not many people know about Lilith. Lilith is one of those energies that she finds you, or these certain things or deities, they find you on your path of enlightenment. So I think a lot of people, when they hear about deities, they think, oh, that's not Christian-like. Well, I never spoke about being a Christian. Maybe in the past I have, because I'm raised by a Christian family. But when I have awakened to spirituality, I understand that all deities and all spirits are within the idea of spirituality. And religion falls under spirituality, or within spirituality. Spirituality, when we speak about spirit or God, it is a spirit. Spirituality, it is the same thing. But when we are speaking about Lilith, right? And within my own journey, and I spoke about in prison, in jail, they wanted me to sign the paper to basically submit to something that they were identifying me as. They were identifying with me being suicidal. But that wasn't true for me. I knew that I wasn't suicidal, so why would I have to sign this paper saying that I wasn't suicidal? It was not true. And so with Lilith being labeled as these things, she's not these things. People labeled her as these things. People, like, this is what I heard earlier today. You do it to yourself. Sometimes people allow their mind to lead them, like they allow these thoughts of things and what they have been taught to, they allow fear to guide them instead of light. Because when light is very bright, how you can't really, like, say if you're in a car, right, and light is like shining at you, you can't think anything except for, damn, that light is bright. Like, turn that light out, that light is bright. So think about that just being everything in existence. Light shines on all darkness. So all things that are thought about that are negative, when light is shined upon it, it's just gone. To even think about Lucifer's name being the bringer of light. The bringer of light, and somehow he was known as an angel that led the other angels, but now he's just something demonic. I think that with Lilith, you know, being equal to Adam, people labeled her those things. So she just said, "All right, y'all want to label me these things? I'll put on the dark lipstick. I'll put on the gothic looking clothes, but I know who I am within my soul journey. I know who I am. You can't say that I'm not loving, kind, a guiding light of source. You can't say these things because clothes, those can come off. Lipstick, that can come off. The gothic look, it can come off. They labeled her these things, but her true nature is very loving. Is a very like strong, energetic type of like a strong feminine type of energy. And the reason that I connect with this energy is because I identify as the divine feminine within the collective of twin flames who are on this journey of being twins. You know, some people aren't going to understand it. I had a person in the comment section saying that this was a journey of the Antichrist. But I think that a lot of people, they only know what they have been taught by other people instead of doing the research themselves. When you do the research yourself, you know that Lilith was Adam's first wife. But within the Bible, it's only including pretty much Eve. They say that Lilith is in the Bible, but I don't even remember hearing about Lilith until my adult years. So she's not really spoken about. So that's why on this channel we're speaking about her, honoring her. And I think that a lot of divine feminine or twin flames who are or identify as divine feminine feel like kind of like what Lilith has experienced. Not being honored in the way that they should, but not in the same way, in the same experience, not stepping over boundaries and saying, "Oh, you got to honor me because I'm the divine feminine." We haven't done that. We just know who we are, and people are going to say what they're going to say, but we know who we are. We know our presence. We know that in a world full of Adams and Liliths, we know our true nature. We know our true being is the equal to our divine masculine. And I think that with Lilith, you know, a lot of people identify with her being just, you know, like the dark feminine or divine feminine energy. And the reason that she calls to me is because I am on this path of being divine feminine. And it can be difficult. It can be difficult to be in a masculine vessel because I'm not a feminine presenting vessel. Now sometimes I'm walking down the street and they looking at the junk in the truck, and they looking at the booty cheeks, they looking at the cakes in the back, they looking at this ass, they see that I'm kind of feminine shaped in a way, but presenting I am male. It's still a thing-a-line, it's still a peen down there. It's still a dangling down there. I am still a male. But within me, the way that I operate energetically is of feminine energy. Not many people understand that. But when they experience me, they may say, "Oh, your energy is very warm. Like, you're a very comforting energy. You're a very loving energy." I've had people say that, "Oh, like you're very I enjoy experiencing you." They basically tell me that I'm a great energy to experience. I'm that's what I've been told, to explain it in short. But when I speak about the path that I'm on, some people have spoken about it being demonic or being not of God. I don't have to explain my journey to them, some of them, because they are meant to be the ops. They are meant to be the bots that aren't awakened. But I know these things. I'm aware of these things. And so with Lilith, she's aware that people call her these things, but she knows who she truly is. That's what makes her unique. No matter where you are on your spiritual journey, and I'm at the point where I'm going to close out this video. I know that I said that I was going to like speak about, from the things that I researched about her, but I think when I researched the things about her, it just kind of fueled me more to speak about some of the thoughts that I have about her, Lilith. And so to also speak on Eve, I want to say that this isn't to downplay Eve's existence, to say that she wasn't important to the experience of humankind. And when I saw the video and heard about Lilith's consort, I can't remember the entity's name, right? But just to think about these beings, these energies that they've had in past lives and past experiences, they aren't, and I wouldn't say that they aren't present now, because there was last year I heard a owl near my bedroom, and it was loud. It was so loud. It was so loud that I opened my window to say, like, damn, where is owl at? Because I'm hearing this owl. But I didn't know until recently that that's how she calls you. That's how she seeks you. But this is also how God seeks you, and and says, hey, I'm here, I'm present within your experience. And this is why I continue to say, you are everything. Everything is you. And we have been taught and conditioned that these are just coincidences. It's just a coincidence. Like, child, that's just an owl out the window, child. It's a coincidence, girl. Go back to sleep. That's what they condition you to believe. But some of us that are awake, we understand that not only is God, within our experience, but it's also like a reminder that we have chosen these paths that are in alignment with these deities or angels or spirits or whatever, because we are spiritual beings having a human experience. I want you to hear that again. We are spiritual beings having a human experience. So what is our original form? I heard you say it. Some of y'all said it. Some of y'all ain't say it. So I'm gonna give you another time. What is our original form? All right. So I'm gonna allow y'all to allow that to settle with to connect with your spiritual being, your higher self. I'm gonna allow that to connect. You can connect in what that is. You are a spiritual being having a human experience. So these other entities or spiritual beings, we're able to connect with these things. When people say Jesus Christ, they're connecting with what? A spiritual being, because it's God. It's not God, but is Jesus within the body. They may say, oh no, our soul is Jesus Christ. That's the same thing. It's the same thing. People just they want you to submit to only what they believe from what they've been taught, but we have to have an openness to understand everything else. Because people will say, oh, well, you know, child, that ain't of Jesus Christ. That ain't of Jesus Christ. Don't listen to that shit. It ain't of Jesus Christ. But you can be open enough to hear it, to understand why they wouldn't want you to listen to it, and choose for yourself whether it's true for you or not true for you. That's the reason you want to be open to hearing these things about these deities. Because if it's calling you, it's calling you. I'm not saying answer every calling, but I'm saying if it's calling you, sometimes it's for you. And fear is the only thing holding you back from answering the call. But if you believe that God is protecting you, even if it's something demonic, don't you think that God will allow you to be able to fight it off? You gotta pull out that. I always kind of like envision myself with a katana blade, and I don't know what type of warrior that is. Maybe a thing. Anyway, I kind of envision myself with a katana blade, like slinging the blood off the katana blade, because I'm slaying demons every way that I can. But in some way, I understand duality and how light and dark is a part of the experience. So as a spiritual being, we are both light and dark. So in some ways, the demonic entity is just a part of duality. But I always envision myself with that katana blade, slinging that blood off, like I'm slinging them. I'm slaying something in the spiritual realm. Something I'm slaying something. But just remember, you are a being of light. You are a being of love. You are a being of unconditional love. And what is true for you is true for you. It may not be true for another being, but it's true for you. And that's how I believe Lilith walks and, you know, had her existence. It's true for her. She was equal to Adam, but she was like, nigga, I don't need you. I'm Lilith. I'm the baddest feminine bitch around here. Fuck is you talking about? Maybe she ain't say it like that because, you know, we done created our own like language system and things like that. But energetically, that's what she's saying. I'm equal to you. Fuck is you talking about? Y'all can call me dark feminine, but I know I'm the true feminine. I'm the true divine feminine. Y'all saying what y'all saying, but I'm out here slaying bitches and niggas. Maybe she ain't say it like that, but you understand what I'm saying. So anyway, if you enjoyed this video, like it, comment, subscribe, and all of those things. And if you want to know more about Lilith, research. What I heard that guy say, research over me search. Research it, because she may be calling out to you. And if you clicked on this video, you probably want to know about Lilith. You probably did. I know that there's a lot of feminine energies that follow this channel. It's more feminine over men. Bodies. It could be, you could be a feminine in a masculine body. Who knows? But remember who you truly are. So with that being said, I love you. Toodaloo.
What the hell are you talking about? Get my pretty name out of your mouth. We are not the same with or without. Don't talk about me like how you might know. Top of the world, but your world isn't real. It was an idea, so go have fun. I really couldn't care less, and you can give it my best, but just know I'm